let's start with you, Ajek. How is the voting and voter turnout so far where you are?
Well, Beatrice, voting was delayed at this particular polling unit for about an hour, and that's because many of the INEC ad hoc staff were camped in this particular polling station, and they had to move out for the polling presiding officers for this particular polling unit to set up and begin voting. But voting has already started in this particular polling unit. It started about 9:30 a.m. local time, and the turnout has been a bit high so far. We understand that a little above 3,000 voters are expected to cast their ballot in this particular polling unit. Many of them have expressed their excitement and are looking forward to this process being peaceful and ensuring that at the end of the day their votes indeed count. Some of them that have cast their vote are waiting to see it counted at the close of ballot, at the close of voting today, and so many are looking forward to ensuring that they vote for a leader who can help to address some of the current challenges. And talking about the current challenges, in the last few weeks, many Nigerians have been unable to access cash for their basic needs, but despite some of these challenges, the turnout is a bit high at this particular polling unit.
And Tesem, what is the situation in Jos and the surrounding areas?
Well, indeed, where I am, I'm somewhere around Jos South local government in a community called Foave. And I must tell you that people here came prepared. They are excited to be participating in this constitutional mandate of theirs to vote in who actually succeeds President Muhammadu Buhari. Many of them came prepared. They came with food packs. They came with water. I mean, they are ready to stay here for as long as the exercise, lasts. So it actually started not behind schedule. Many of them came early. Some I interacted with some of them. Some came at about 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and all of that. Whereas the officials from the Electoral Commission came in at about 9:50, 9:30 a.m., which was very late. Based on what had been prescribed. So, but generally the mood here is one of enthusiasm. Despite the hitches and all of that, the electorate are out and they are ready to exercise their franchise as enshrined by the Constitution.
All right, and Deji, it does seem like everything is going on smoothly around the country. What about the commercial capital, Lagos? How is the voting going on there?
Well, Beatrice, what I can tell you is that the process has been peaceful so far, even though it's the same challenge that Tesem and Ajek have actually reported. Election officials not arriving in good time at polling units, but in some places, of course, they did arrive in good time. But then there were also some slight issues now with the beavers. There were situations where the beavers did not recognize some people, some voters now, even when they came with their voter's card now. But altogether, it's been peaceful, and so far at least. I'm actually at the polling unit where the candidate of the APC voted. That's the polling unit just behind me there, and you can see voting is gradually winding down. You don't have anybody on the queue here. And there's another polling unit right beside me here. If my cameraman could just pan, there you have another polling unit now. There's nobody voting here. People have already voted. So voters are not on the queue, so there's no line here. And but then the officials cannot leave the polling unit. They can't go to the next stage, which will be to count the ballot papers now, until it is 2:30 p.m. And when they are sure there's no one on the line, then they'll begin the process of counting. But so far, I would say so far so good. Turnout, not so massive in most of the polling units we have visited. But of course, the information we've received from some other places is that the turnout, well, at least relatively good. But then the process is still on, and so we'll wait and see how it goes.
Right, Ajek, this is going to be a first with the use of technology in this election. Have there been any irregularities reported to the Electoral Commission? And when do we expect the voting to end exactly, and when, as when early numbers are expected from the Commission?
Well, Beatrice, the voting exercise at this place, because it started a bit late, the commissioner said that even though the close of voting, which is supposed to be at 2:30 p.m. Local time, that's 13:30 G, if there are still voters on the queue, they will still be allowed to vote at the end of the day. But because of the delay in sending some of these materials out, we understand that some polling officers are yet to get to their polling units to conduct this election. So that might likely delay how early the results from those particular polling units come in. But for those units that have started, like this particular polling unit where we are, once the voting ends and the ballots are being counted, the results would be transmitted to the collation center here in the capital. And of course, the results from other polling and voting units in neighboring states like Nasarawa and Kaduna would also start trickling in. So we should expect to see results coming, early results coming, say later this evening or late this evening.
And Tessim, what are some of the key issues for the people of Jos? What are they voting along the lines of?
Yeah, like I said before now, the election officials arrived, behind schedule, which was the first issue, the first concern being raised, that has been raised by people here. Secondly, we've had cases of malfunction of of beavers, which is which has delayed some of the process generally. But one thing I can say is, the people are ready. There's been a lot of security patrol. We've gone round the patrol on highways, on streets, just to ensure that, there's life and property protected. Election materials are also protected. Jos has a history of political violence, and so a lot of caution is being put together to ensure that all goes smoothly. But generally, it's been fair, but for the late arrival of materials. But generally, it's well, and the electorate are ready to vote until when it's time for the counting.
All right, and Deji, just a final comment from you, though. What are some of the issues that are affecting voting today, and how exactly is the Electoral Commission dealing with them?
Well, let me just tell you about some of the things I have personally observed at some of the polling units I visited. There were issues with the beavers, but not really serious. I'll give you an example. There was this polling unit I visited, about 2 or 3 voters who came there. Their gender was not clearly identified. The beavers, women of course, but when they got there, the beavers recognized them as, they were recognized by the beavers now as men, so their gender was recorded as male when they were female. But eventually, the issue got resolved and they were able to vote. There were also issues with the beavers not responding quickly in terms of, taking the photograph of the voters. Now, that's for verification, just for verification. So there were some delays, but eventually the issues got resolved and very quickly, resolved very quickly, and they were able to vote. But let me just say this, Beatrice. I have someone with me here. Sorry, we didn't tell you beforehand, but never mind. This is live anyway, and never mind. But we just got him now. He's a voter. Tell me, have you voted, and what was the process like?
The process is very slow.
Slow?
It's very, very slow.
Okay, when you say slow, what do you mean?
When I get there, I came here by 7 o'clock. The INEC official are not yet here. I called my friends at Ibadan, in Ibadan, he told me that they have started voting. 1 hour, INEC is not here. After they come here, said everything is just slow.
So they said that the INEC officials did not get to your polling unit on time, and everything was slow. What was the issue? Why was it slow?
I do not know.
Was there a problem with the Vivas?
No, there's
that device they used to take to capture people's picture. Was there a problem with that?
I believe there is some there is some issue.
But are you happy that you voted eventually?
Yes, I'm voted. I'm voted.
So what do you expect of the next president of this country? What do you expect him to do?
My brother, when I'm coming out of my house this morning, I pray that God, let the will of God should be done in Nigeria.
What is your own will? What is your own will? What do you expect of the president?
My will is the will of God.
Okay.
The will of God is my will.
Okay.
Any president, I pray that any president that will not suffer Nigerian, that Nigeria is free of security, good economic. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for any.
All right. All right, thank you. Beatrice, there I mean, you just heard one of the voters. And, you know, for most people that I have spoken, that I've actually spoken to, the economy and security, very big issues. But let me tell you something. Apart from the economy and security, people will be voting on other issues as well. You have the issue of religion, you have the issue of tribe, you have the issue of region as well. So, but all the same, people are really excited to for those who have voted now, they're excited to have voted, and everyone hopes that the process ends, you know, peacefully, and that the results come out as early as possible.